Hello, my name is Ismail Shakhtakhtinsky. I'm an immigration lawyer with IS Law Firm. Today's topic is how to sponsor and bring parents of U.S. citizens into the U.S. citizens into the United States, how to process their immigration into the U.S. In today's America, the sponsorship of the parents is a very critical topic because the current administration had proposed to eliminate the category of U.S. citizens sponsoring their parents as a way of chain immigration. So it's first important to understand that the sponsorship of parents of U.S. citizens is just like sponsorship of the petitioning for the spouse of U.S. citizen, in that both the parents of U.S. citizen and the spouse and children under 21 years of age are considered immediate family members, immediate relatives. And there is no waiting time in terms of the visa priority dates. And if your parents are in the U.S., all of their paperwork can be filed at the same time. Their adjustment of status application, work permit, travel authorization can be filed at the same time as you file the petition for them. The process of sponsoring your parents if they're abroad currently takes about a year and a half or two. And sometimes it can take longer if their case is stuck in administrative processing through consulate. But the process of sponsoring their immigration into the U.S. while they're visiting you in the U.S. is a bit faster, and it's less burdensome because it does not require them to wait for the immigrant visa overseas. So if they're in the U.S. and you're a U.S. citizen and you have your parents here and you would like to sponsor their immigration into the U.S., the best idea is to do it now, to do it while they're in the U.S. and they can be here in the United States during the processing. How soon can they leave after you file the adjustment of status and the petition for them? Typically, it's about 4 months of processing until they can depart the U.S. because together with the adjustment of status, they can also apply for what's called advanced parole, travel document, which allows them to leave the U.S. and come back during the processing of their green card case. That typically takes about 4 months, but it can be expedited on case-by-case basis if there are any urgent and emergency reasons. The process through consulate goes through 3 stages. So if your parents are abroad and you'd like to bring them into the U.S., you must file the petition here with the USCIS. It currently takes them about 8 months of processing until the case is decided, sometimes longer, and it changes day by day up until recent times. During the previous administration, it used to take about 3 to 6 months. Now it takes 8 months to 12 months for the USCIS to process just the petition sponsoring your parents. After the petition is approved, if your parents are abroad, then the USCIS forwards the file into the National Visa Center, which is the National Visa Center is a center under the Department of State. When they receive the file after USCIS approval, they send the notice to the petitioner, and if petitioner has a lawyer, to the petitioner's lawyer and the applicant's lawyer, and asking for additional documents and visa application forms. The additional documents and forms also include affidavit of support. After all of those gets filed with the National Visa Center verifies that they have all the documents, civil documents, and police records, and visa application form, affidavit of support. And if they do, then they forward the case to the consulate, U.S. consulate, in the home country of the beneficiary of your parents. Then the consulate schedules an interview, and depending on the backlog of cases, it may take some time for them to schedule it. So currently, from the time of filing up until your parents will be able to attend the interview and receive their immigrant visas, takes about 2 years, and sometimes it may take longer if their case is stuck in administrative processing. So it is critical to understand that if your parents are in the U.S. With any type of visa, and even if they're out of status, as long as they enter the United States with inspection, meaning with some kind of visa, they are eligible to adjust their status in the U.S., and you as a U.S. citizen can sponsor their immigration while they're in the U.S. And it's very important to understand that it's easier, it's less burdensome, and it does not force them to leave the U.S. and be outside of the U.S. during the processing of the entire case, which can last years. So the difference between adjustment of status and the consular processing is timing, is the cost, and is the burden. The burden on the family to be separated during that time. If your parents are not currently in the U.S., but they do have a non-immigrant visitor's visa, or they can come into the U.S. with a visa waiver program. If they do that, and if they're in the U.S., then you can make the decision of sponsoring them while they're in the United States. However, by law, they're not allowed to enter the U.S. with a tourist visa or with the visa waiver program with the intent of remaining indefinitely here in the U.S. And therefore, no plans should be made to have them immigrate here before they enter the United States. And if they're already here and that's when you make the decision, then that's fine. There is no preconceived intent. Then you can sponsor your parents' immigration into the U.S.